In today's tutorial, we are going to talk about invoice to sessions as payment plans. You can now set up your invoice templates with two different approaches, setting the due date relative to the invoice issue date or relative to the session date. This is currently in beta, and we hope to add additional features in the future. At this time, you cannot use this with the booking calendar, so just be aware. First, you can set it by the payment due date. You can set your first payment due date as one of the following: when the invoice is issued, before or after the session, or on the session date. If you have an invoice template with a single payment, this will set your full invoice due date for whatever is selected. If you are creating an invoice template with a payment schedule attached, your first installment will be set to whatever you've selected for your first installment due date. Now let's talk about adding that payment schedule. So to add that payment schedule, we're going to go ahead and create a new invoice template. You can do that by going to My Settings, Settings, and Invoice Templates. I'm going to go ahead and create a new template here. And we're going to say this is newborn session. And you can see I now have my first payment due. I can have it when the invoice is issued, on the session date, before the session date, and I can select how many days, weeks, months, or years. I can also do after the session. For this one, we are going to have it say when the session invoice is issued, because that is when I would like to have that. So I'm going to go ahead and add my products here just like we always would. I'm going to hit the check mark, and then I'm going to do add payment schedule. So from here, I'm going to choose a plan. I'm going to do retainer plus balance. We're going to do my due date association. This is where it changes it up. I'm going to say I want it to be relative to the session date. Your other choice is relative to the invoice issue date. So I'm going to go do session date. I'm going to say my retainer is $50. And then I am going to see the payment schedule is listed now. So now you can see $50 is going to be due when the invoice is issued, and then $50 on the date of the session. So I can go ahead and hit finish. So now when I send this to my client, they on a workflow or individually, they will have the first balance due as soon as they receive that invoice, and then their last remaining balance will be due on their session date.